Okay, we are recording for the final post game commentary talkback of Boater Plays Something, Freespace 2. This was episodes 15, 16, and 17, and possibly 18
Yeah,
if I split the
buddy.
last mission off. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that yet, but yeah. After how long it took us to get through a few missions last recording session, I thought that we'd have to do two more to get this done, but no, we banged that out in about 3 hours. It helped to not have to redo too much. I think
Until the end.
yeah. Well, there was one mission where escorting the two lambdas, the supply and the
Mhm.
medical frigates for the evac. That one had to be redone just because one of the lambdas died and the medical frigate died. And
Right.
then when we did it again, everyone survived except the cargo transport. So yeah. I guess before we get into the nitty gritty, Bryan, that was Free Space 2. What'd you think?
That was fun. That was very fun. I see why it's got such a passionate fan base behind it. I'm really like I think it's really cool that we've had um, folks who are still fans of it 20 plus years later, and the folks who want to preserve this game. And I definitely see the push to get the graphics to be a little bit more aligned with HD quality that we have today.
Uh huh.
Given that this game was from the late 90s, but
Exactly.
this is like a good story, and it's a deep world. And I mean, the strategy at the end was actually quite compelling. Like that
Yeah.
actually came together quite nice at the end.
It plays very very strongly. I mean, it's one thing, like the hidden mission objective is just to leave. Um, Nothing I did in the end there mattered as far as objectives go. It's just to leave, and even if you fail it, it plays a different cinematic at the end. But after the arc that Alpha One and Bryan went through, I was too much of a coward. I couldn't be like, no, I'll stay defending. It doesn't matter. They're all going to get blown up. No, I'll do my duty. No, I couldn't do that. Oh my god, there's so many. Come on. Killing one through the fireball of another? I'm sorry, I felt pretty impressed with that. Damn it.
Oh, I'm so impressed.
No, it was good. It was good.
But yeah, I'm gonna see if I can find a comparison really quick. I mean, you can go to wiki.hardlight.net and just we were looking at a lot of bombers at the end there, so just seeing the graphical quality is a huge thing. Again, when we played, what we did, what you watched with us, was we played as close to the retail version as possible. We were recording in higher resolution and widescreen resolution, but other than that, it's still using original graphics. I was trying to play it as close to that as we could. But a lot of people love the new graphics and stuff like that. There's a radar that's usually more helpful, although there was a note in as lightning fall to maybe use the classic radar because of the HUD messing around.
Mhm.
But oh, I just got a note that Discord has crashed, which is interesting because we're still talking to each other on Discord.
Yeah, fascinating.
I'm gonna leave it, but if I have to restart the call, we'll get to it. Anyway, so yeah, like FreeSpace was kind of the big name in space sims, late '90s, early 2000s, and
Hmm.
the genre kind of didn't survive past that point. There's some speculation that part of it is that how can you top this? How could you top free space? And it was just something that people weren't able to do. That said, you would think if the genre was still healthy, we would have gotten Free Space 3. But unfortunately,
Right.
Volition and Interplay split. Some of them got rights to one thing, some got rights to another. It was kind of screwed over by that kind of behind the scenes thing. There is a design document for what Free Space 3 would have looked like and, what the storyline could have been. Although I do caution people in that a design document like that can change a lot during development. That if they had actually went to produce Freespace 3, what's in that document may not have been what we got. That kind of thing happens a lot. So,
Of course.
but Freespace 1 ends with the Lucifer going up and cutting everyone off from Earth. Freespace 2 ends with Shivans destroying a star and still some of them still jumping out to safety and a reprieve, but there's still more coming. The escalation is wild, and it's can always wonder what could have been.
Yeah.
The 2010s saw a resurgence in spaceflight games, Elite Dangerous, Star Citizen, that kind of thing. But for a lot of people, Freespace is still where it's at. So
Absolutely. It's fascinating to me, like looking on the wiki now, actually, because I have this up. I went over to the total conversions page, thinking that I would see like an update of the graphics on that page, but instead it's the people who took the game engine and completely changed all the graphics and customized them to fit other worlds. And I was thinking, as we're playing this reminds me very much of like a breed between like Star Wars flight simulators and like the Battlestar Galactica from the early 2000s, which, premiered maybe just a few years after this game came out.
Yeah, exactly.
And lo and behold, people converted to both universes.
Oh yeah, like a lot of mods are enhancing the base game, but a total conversion is let's use this engine to make an entirely different game. For Star Wars, there's a 20+ year gap between the last X-Wing TIE Fighter game and Star Wars Squadrons. Maybe 25-year gap between those. And so total conversions were the community's way of still being able to have a Star Wars space sim. And then I don't think there ever was a Battlestar Galactica 1. I don't know that there was a Star Trek 1 on the same kind of scale and ability, but I'm sure that there's that now. I'm trying to see if I can find total conversions right here. Yep, there's Battlestar Galactica Beyond the Red Line, Battlestar Galactica 1 called Diaspora, the Babylon Project for Babylon 5.
Mm-hmm. Wing Commander, there's a Star Fox 1 down towards the bottom.
Yeah.
That's what that game. That's what Freespace really missed, was someone in the cutscenes or my position going, "Do a barrel roll," like
should have been done during training.
I should have done more of that. I'm sorry, I failed you, Butter.
Yeah, all the times that you just keep hearing, "You got one on your tail," and it could be like, "Watch your back, do a barrel roll. You can shake them. I believe in you."
Oh my gosh, yes. I love it.
I honestly, like, going into the third time's the charm, right, of that final mission. I was actually like, not exactly chest pain, but just like tightness here as I'm like, please let me do this. Let's make it. Like I tanked a cruiser explosion, wiped my front shield, and brought me down to 20-something hull. I'm like, no, like, you hear me say, not again.
Mm-hmm.
A shout out to the mission where you fly in the Maras is pretty well regarded by the community, I think, because you jump in and immediately Snipes yelling "Dive, dive, dive!" Is, I think, one of the highlights of the voice acting in the game. For the most part, it's serviceable, it's passable. Snipes, especially in that mission, I really liked.
That was really cool. That was actually really disorienting coming in with that at the very beginning of the mission.
Yeah.
But that really did open up the stakes very early on, as opposed to, you kind of have that. Usually when you jump into a level, you've got that couple of seconds to get your bearing, see where you are, especially if you change environments from just space to orbit to a nebula to what have you. And then the enemies start coming in, or then the objectives start kicking in, like a few seconds into the level. But they really just got you from the jump on that one. So I could see why that's held in such regard.
It's also a subversion. In the first Freespace game, there is there's a mission where you pilot a dragon fighter on a stealth mission into Shivan territory and have to scan like a bunch of cargo and freighters, and oh my god, it's the Lucifer, scan it. And so going into this, we're flying Mars, and I'm like, are we supposed to be stealthy, or is this going to be combat? Like, what's it going to be out the gate? And then it's, we almost got destroyed, and within 30 seconds, Snipes is like, weapons free, let's go. I'm like, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, a lot of variance in the play style in a lot of these, or the objectives rather.
Yeah.
You know, it's nice to see that it's not just, you know, destroy all the fighters on the other side, you know, and then wait for, you know, the gameplay to play out. Because a lot of other, you know, space combat games can just be that. And while that's fun, those can become very redundant because it's the same objective in a new wrapper, you know. And this really does have a lot of variance over the course of the game, which I really appreciated.
A lot of games kind of stop their gameplay mission innovation at, oh, well, escort instead of destroy, which is going to involve destroying, but, you know. And so for it to switch up, sometimes we had to scan things. If you remember what at the end of the first SOC loop, it was, oh, destroy this transport of civilians. And just like making you know, look at that decision in the moment, it just plays out really well. If there was one thing that I would look to mod in here first, because it is a 25-year-old game, there's a lot that can and has been updated. I'd probably look at a voice pack first. Like we said, Snipes was a highlight, but a lot of the others was like, Admiral Petrarch was like, can you speak up and can you get to the point?
Yes.
The mission briefings, the music was loud, a fair amount in the game. And I'll have to like see what I can do with that in post, but I wanted to keep the music in the like in the flight stuff because I like, you know, the sound when reinforcements comes in and, you know, hearing the music in there, but in briefings it was rough.
There was a lot of areas of this game where the sound mixing and the levels were definitely, you know, off-putting.
Yeah.
It's hard to say, you know, being so far removed from the game's development, like, was that a choice? Was that limitation based on the development cycle or process? Like, was it a rush timetable where they were just like, the sound effects are in, and they don't have the time to, like, go through and sweeten levels to be, you know, working as well in an interactive scale? But even in those cutscenes, like, those are locked. You know, you don't really have to worry about interactive elements with the player, so to have those be so different, well, not different, but like have those be so at an off-putting level interacting with one another, like that feels really weird.
I think part of it is just that the bar is so much higher nowadays. Again, this is 2001. And, you know, I don't want to be unkind to it, but certainly fully voiced and everything was still kind of at the time considered a feature. You know, to have all that. So it might have been slightly behind the curve, but not so much that it's like, oh, what's going on? You know, nowadays, you know, you'd be able to fine tune, you know, menu music, briefing music, and flight music all separately.
Right.
And I don't think that was a thing here. It was just music, dialogue, and so forth. Whereas dialogue, music mixing, and stuff during missions was fine. Yeah, I don't have much else to say on that. This has been a really cool project to do. I'm looking forward to getting to do the live action stuff and digging into the edits. But in this, I'm going to give one more huge thanks to Munnin Crow on Etsy, who provided, you know, like the SOC pin, your GTVA pin, patches for that, and Blue Lions, and all of the Squadron patches. I ordered a bunch, but then as he keeps coming out with new items, he's been sending me those. Somewhere at your old address, there's a pair of pilot wings that I will have to get attached to this before we do the live action things. So we'll see if we can figure that out, but huge thank you there. And for, you know, making sure that this is something that will have community visibility as well. I'm very appreciative of that. And hey, you know, thank you to, the SCP, like this Freespace Preservation. Why did I say SCP? Oh yeah, Source Code Project. I keep on thinking Secure, Contain, Protect. A different SCP. The Source Code Project for keeping this in a playable state decades later. It's such a treat to be able to revisit and to not have to wrestle with compatibility and patches and everything like that.
Yeah.
I like doing older games here on the channel, and for it to be, easier like that is pretty nice.
Yeah, for sure. This is lovely.
Do you have anything else to add for either the episodes, Freespace in general, or anything?
I just want to say thank you, I guess, to everybody who kept this game alive. I think it's really hard in the ecosystem of video games in general. It's really hard to keep games of a certain age relevant, preserved, or in a state where they can be played as systems, are constantly updated, consoles are given new generations and not kept backwards compatibility. Honestly, to be able to go back and play a 25, 26-year-old game that wasn't necessarily like, here's a decidedly re-released version or what have you, like that is very, very impressive work at the hands of these preservationists and the folks that are saying this game is worthy of maintaining life after a release cycle of a company that may or may not have even survived this long. Like you said, a lot of game companies, get shaken up, get broken apart. They lose licenses. They lose ability to re-release, things like that. So a lot of games don't necessarily have legal clearance for re-releases. And
whereas I'm going to point out,
for this.
I'm going to thank the developers or whoever it was in the first place that released the source code to this and considered it, that explicitly made Freespace 2 open source, because these preservation efforts would have been a lot more difficult if not for that. And
Absolutely.
I think that, considering that there's a movement right now as far as like post-release for games that is more talking about multiplayer games and stuff, like when servers shut down, but video game preservation is an ongoing issue, and this ability to just look back and say, hey, we're done making money off of this, here to the community, it's yours now, is something that is not done enough and is a model that I think should be followed more.
I fully agree. I fully agree with that. And I'm really glad that there's people out there who are also in agreement and are taking steps to keep these projects alive. So thank you very much for letting us have this experience, because this would not have been possible without you.
And last thank you to Bryan for joining me for this series. When I originally was thinking it was just, you would be the one like breaking the fourth wall to introduce me, whatever, at the start. And probably by the time at the end of Act 1, I don't think we'll be breaking the fourth wall at all. We'll be all in character. But like this evolved a little bit, and it's such a unique format for me to be doing on my channel that I cannot wait to really dig into these edits and to really make this special, and it wouldn't have happened without you. So thank you, Bryan.
Thank you. And I'm sorry for any editing and all editing you'll have to do around my drinking, sneezing, etc. during gameplay. But thank you for making me look good. I appreciate it. Hopefully, this guy can have like a coffee at his post or something, because...
yeah. Hey, well, that's a neat looking mug. It works.
It's this is my Deep Space Nine inspired mug. This is one of the several ones that we used on the show. So it's sci-fi relevant.
I was just drinking water from a shaker, but I at least made sure that the energy drink logo wasn't facing the camera. So
Brought to you by Debbie.
Use code VOTER for 10% off at WJetGG. Thank you, everyone,
get that sponsorship.
Thank you, everyone, so much for watching. I hope that you've enjoyed watching this series as much as we've enjoyed creating it. You can follow me on over at Blue Sky, Boaterbug. You can support at Patreon and Ko-Fi.com/Boaterbug, and watch live at Twitch.tv/Boaterbug. Bryan, do you have places where people can find you?
Yes, you can find me on those socials at BP Stoyle. That's BPSTOYLE. I'm on TikTok, Instagram. I just joined Neptune, a brand new app.
Ooh.
And I'm also on Blue Sky.
Cool. Well, we'll see you there, and I hope to see some of you guys as well. Thank you so much for watching, and whatever series comes next, I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
I'm just going until you tell me to stop.
I don't want it.
That's funny. That's funny.